Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Midland Reporter Telegram's District 3-5A football report. It's week 3 here in week 2, right? Week 3?
Week 2.
Week 3, I don't remember. I think it's week 2-0-1. No. Actually, it's week 3, I'm sorry. Can't count. Week 3 here with the high school football season, District 3-5A. Midland High and Lee among I think 3-0 teams, right?
Yep.
And then Abilene Cooper's the other one, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Midland High and Lee among 3-0 teams in District 3-5A, as we are 3/5 of the way through the non-district season. We got 2 more weeks of non-district games, then it all starts up in 2 weeks on October 8th. So, Sean, Lee picked up a nice win last week against Amarillo High, all the 50th anniversary festivities, all the homecoming. Lee did have some things to work out, but how solid of a win was that for them last Friday?
It's Paladuro, actually.
I mean, Paladuro.
And really, I mean, with all the distractions that they could have had going around them with the 50th anniversary and everything, I think it was a big win for them, and especially to be challenged there in the first quarter and to really turn it on in the second quarter and then keep that lead in the second half.
Talk a little bit about how this Lee team is looking. A lot of people have talked about they don't have a lot of talent. There's not a lot of speed. There just doesn't seem to be like Lee teams, and it seems to be a lot different than Lee teams in the past, where there just doesn't seem to be that type of talent there that has carried them. But as this team looks sharp and they executed well, which could it carry them a ways this year?
Yeah, it's definitely a different Lee team this year. Last year it was kind of Jace Edwards' team. The year before that, the defense really carried it as a unit. But this year, I mean, it really is a team effort from top to bottom, from the coaching staff to players that only see the field on special teams. I mean, it's just the attention to detail this year is what's made the difference, and it's going to be what makes a difference down the stretch.
How far can that carry them?
To the playoffs at least, but how much farther, I'm not sure. Eventually, they're going to come up against a team that's bigger and more athletic, and that's going to be that. But I think they can definitely make the playoffs.
Are they going to be able to just keep teams close to them when they play? I mean, especially a team like an Abilene High, or even to a certain extent a Cooper, even a Midland High, even crosstown rival Midland High.
Yeah, I don't see him really blowing anybody out, especially, I mean, as competitive as this district is, I don't think you can count anybody blowing anybody out. But even when they come up against an Abilene High, I think they have the coaching to stay in those games and make it competitive.
All right, slate of 6 games this week. It's kind of old home week, all the complaining about all the travel, all the issues with 3-5A, the 10-team district. Well, we got 4 matchups this week. Actually 5 this week involving teams from the former 2-5A. If you count Lubbock High and Abilene Cooper. So, apparently they want to schedule each other in non-district. They just don't want to play each other when it really counts. So anyway, like I said, I like the 10-team district. It made things fun in September last year. But interesting week of games. We'll get to your game on Friday, Sean. Lee at Amarillo High. First of all, talk about Lubbock Monterey at Midland High. Midland High showed the ability they can run the football, and they also showcase who's possibly their best player. I mean, if they keep doing that, they're going to be tough to beat, aren't they?
Right. It just goes to show no matter who's under center for him, Tyler Middleton's going to take this team wherever it's going to go. And playing a pretty young Monterey team, I think they'll turn it over to Middleton again this week.
Give me a score.
I don't think this one will be that close. 42-10, Midland High.
I like Midland High in this one. I think they're going to go off again. I think it's going to be 56-17. The big game Thursday night in Shotwell Stadium, Abilene High's gauntlet of a schedule continues when they take on Plant City, Florida in Shotwell, so there's a little bit of an advantage there. But Abilene High coming off a loss to Cocoa, Florida, which is a Class 2A team, and looking at the enrollment in Florida, looking at the enrollment numbers, they're the equivalent of a large 3A in Texas. So one of the Sims cousins did not play. He's going to likely play this week, which could make a difference. But this is going to be a tough game for Abilene, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're going to get everything they bargained for in this game. I guess kind of the cost of being one of the best teams in Texas. You have to look at a state to fill your schedule. But they'll have Herschel Sims back, and that will hopefully make a big difference for them.
Give me a score.
28-24, Abilene High.
I like Plant City in this one. I think Abilene High is going to lose a second straight. I think there's some of their offensive line issues are still going to come back to haunt them. And I've heard, from what I understand from this Plant City team, it's a team that can run. So I think I like Plant City in this one. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 21-18. I know it's kind of a weird score, but I think it's going to be 21-18 Plant City. We go across town in Abilene. Abilene Cooper taking on Lubbock High up in Lubbock this week. I tell you what, the Cougars are rolling. This could be another game where they could roll, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they really turned it on last week, and didn't really notice till afterwards that running back Riddick didn't have that great of a game, just 67 yards rushing, and 30 of those were on one carry. But just throwing the ball was enough for them to blow that team out.
Big win this week. Give me a score.
Oh, this one will probably be, I'd say 56-7 wouldn't be.
Okay. I like this one, Sam. I think Cooper's going to go over 60 on this one. I think it's going to be 63-14. Odessa High at San Angelo Central. From what we understand, San Angelo Central has scheduled Odessa High for their homecoming. I don't know whether I really want Bradley Marquez really coming into town and ruining my homecoming festivities. 380 yards from Bradley last week. Everybody knew he was good, but did we know he was capable of that?
He's taken me by surprise, and I've been one of his biggest supporters, I guess, since the first time I saw him. I've always been impressed with him. But what really struck me was seeing last week he rushed for 380 yards, and looking at the district rushing leaders, and the number 2 on Riddick with Cooper has 380 for the season.
Right.
So nobody else other than Riddick even has 380 yards for the season, and he got it in 1 week. So
yeah, Bradley's got some records in his sights. I think he's got some Odessa High career records in his sights as well. He's got some district season records in his sight. He did, from what we understand, obviously the district hasn't been together, wasn't together the last 2 years, but from what we understand looking at it, that rushing night was the most by any running back in the history of the 6 schools that are competing in the district now. I think the next closest was in 1999 by Sneezy Beltran at Abilene High. So even Cedric Benson, I think, was 350. I think was the number I got. So the number that we had checked out. And thanks to Barry Sykes for giving us all that information in his great record book he does every year. And give me a predicted score on this game.
I think it'll be pretty one-sided, 49 to 12. Odessa High.
I think Central's going to keep it close because Brent Davis is going to do what he can to make sure Bradley Marquez does not go crazy on them. I think he'll get over 100 yards. He may get over 150, but I think this game is going to come down to Odessa High's quarterback and their defense. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 29-20, and I think Odessa High is going to win it. Finally, Amarillo Tascos at Permian. Another rough week at Permian. It's been a crazy 6 months over there. Between the whole Girdwich affair, now you have a couple kids get arrested, suspended. I know you talked to Coach Gaines earlier today, here on Wednesday. Talk a little bit about just how things are going over there at Permian.
Well, I don't know, they're just trying to put it out of sight and out of mind at this point. Talking to him, he said both players are suspended. They'll remain suspended. He doesn't know or doesn't have any kind of timetable for when that status may change with him. So right now they've already filled in those positions, and they're just trusting that the guys behind them will fill in just as well as they did.
Gary Gaines probably wishing he would have stayed as an athletic director right now, probably. Anyway, predicted score on this game. This is a game that Permian should win, but could it be closer?
Yeah, I mean, Tascosa, they've definitely been a feisty team under Ken Plunk up there, and I think they'll definitely make it close, even on the road. As far as the score goes, 30-24 Permian.
I like Permian in this one as well. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair because Permian's defense still has some issues they need to work out, and Tascosa can move the football. They showed it last week against Odessa High. Only problem was every time Bradley Marquez touched it, he kept scoring. And I think he just scored again, by the way. Anyway, I think Permian's going to win this game. I think it's going to be a wild shootout. I think it's going to be 45-38. Permian's going to win it. Finally, your game, Amarillo. Lee goes up to Dick Bivens Stadium, plays Amarillo High. One thing we do know about this game may not take very long.
No, something I love to see. Two teams that love running the football, definitely running that clock, kind of like last week with Lee and Paladuro, another wing T offense. But Lee going back up to Dick Bivens Stadium, they definitely have some bad memories there from last year when they lost both their quarterbacks, Edwards and Adrian Horton, to concussions. So I think they'll definitely want to come back with some better memories this time around.
Give me a predicted score.
I think this will be pretty close. I'll go with Lee. 30-23.
I think Lee's going to win this one as well. I think it's going to be really low scoring. I really do. It's going to be 17-13 Lee. I think Amarillo High is going to do their best to limit the amount of possessions Lee gets, and I know that sounds crazy, with Lee's offense, but I think Lee's offense has been playing so well, both running and passing. I think Coach Maxfield up there is going to do what he can to make sure that they stay off the field as long as they can. So I think it's going to be close. One other thing, Sean, Rockhounds in the Texas League Championship this weekend. Game was halted, not played last night because of unplayable conditions. The Rockhounds going to win 2 in a row.
They definitely are in position to do that. I think this series will probably be a better matchup than last year's, just because all the talent going through the lower levels of the Royal system, not so much at the major league level. But and fortunately, I think it'll be a good series because not too many players have moved on from either teams during the season. So I think it'll go 5 games, but I think the Rockhounds can definitely take it.
Well, it could be an interesting weekend here, sports weekend here in Midland, here in the Midland area, and I'd like to thank Sean for joining us here. I know we had a little bit of baseball in there, but this was the District 3 5A football report. I'm Len Hayward. Thanks for joining us.